In my spirit, I'm literally like jumping for joy. I'm like so happy. I'm like, I finally was able to give to the poor. I don't want to call him poor because he's not poor, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. So in my mind, in my heart, I'm just jumping for joy. And then I was just like, I know God gonna provide, not because, I gave to someone. I just have this mentality that God is gonna provide. And I try to keep that same mentality regardless of any situation. So today I went to the grocery store because I needed to get a couple of more things. Same grocery store. And while I was in the grocery store, the kids were just picking up toys, and it was a guy. He was asking if all of the kids was mine, and I was like, yes. And he was like, you got your hands full? And I was like, yes, me and my husband. And then he was like, can I buy the toy for the kids? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, do you mind seeing how much the toy was? And I was like, yeah, let me see. So I figured out how much the toy was. It was way too expensive. I told him, oh no, you don't have to do that, because I was not about to pay that amount for a small little toy. And he was like, I thought it was like $1 or $2. I wouldn't have mind. And I was like, no, that's fine. And then before he walked off, he had handed me $5. He was like, you know what, here's $5. You can let them get what they want. And I was like, oh, thank you. Now mind you, I'm already knowing, like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm like, God, you literally, like, no way, y'all. I'm like, no way. And I'm just like, I was just thanking God. I'm like, thank you, God, because this was so unexpected. And I know, it's just $5, but the fact that somebody thought about my kids and gave them money is like, like out of nowhere. So then I go to check out my groceries, y'all, and I did the self-checkout because I needed to do 2 separate transactions. So I just did one transaction self-checkout since I didn't have a lot of items, and then I was going to do the other transaction at the register. So the self-checkout wasn't working, so I had to get help. So the whole transaction got canceled, and then I went up to the register, and the lady helped me. And then she was saying that I needed to pay an additional $3 and some change. So I was looking at the receipt, and I'm like, well, what isn't WIC taking? Because it do this every time. Like, I kid you not, every time I go to get things for the WIC, one item always don't get covered by the WIC. So I'm like, okay, don't worry about it, I'll just pay for it, right? And she was like, you know what, let me see what it is that they didn't take, and I'll just refund you for it. And I was like, thank you. And mind you, I'm just like, no way. So, and the crazy thing about that was I paid card, and she ended up refunding me the money with cash. And I was just like, no way, God. Like,